Let's start with you, John, if that's okay.
Sure.
How you see yourself and how you see Assange and what both of your cases reveal about the treatment of whistleblowers.
Oh, sure.
And also, could you set up your story in case people don't know about it?
Certainly. And before the hour's over, remind me to say something about the effect of calls to members of Congress. I spent years on Capitol Hill, and they really do have an effect.
Oh, well, we can all do that. I'm not even kidding. We can do that now. Whenever you want to do that.
Listen,
we have the script.
I worked on both the House side and the Senate side. The Senate's a little tougher, but in the House, sometimes they jump to with just one phone call or one letter. They're very responsive to constituents on the House side. So by all means, email, call, do whatever is easiest for you, because they'll respond and react to it. On the Senate side, they have usually interns or young staff members who just collate all the calls and the emails coming in. So if there is a number of communications coming in on an issue, that will make its way to the senator. So this is not a waste of time. This actually works. I would encourage everybody to call their members. Okay.
Yeah, we have both numbers. Numbers. The only difference is there was something different. John, if you can remind me, there was something different about the thing with the representatives that obviously you have to know who it is. And but we have all the numbers. We have everything there.
And you can call 202-224-3121, which is the Capitol Hill operator. And if you don't know your member, the operator is trained to identify who that is and refer your call to the right office.
Can you say that number again? I'm just going to put it in.
Wait, it's on our phone script. You see it on our script, Katie. It's at the top of the script.
Yeah, but I just want to put it in the chat so it's
okay.
there.
Okay.
So 202.
You bet. It's 202-224-3121.
Great. Okay. Yep. Now we have it there. Okay.
Excellent. So my name is John Kiriakou. I'm a former CIA officer. And to make a very long story very short, I blew the whistle on the CIA's torture program in 2007. I was prosecuted by the Obama administration in 2012 and facing 45 years in prison. I ended up taking a deal that sent me to a federal prison for 23 months, where I had the fabulous support of Code Pink, and my friend Kevin Gastala came to visit me a number of times. Julian Assange has always been a beacon of transparency. And honestly, I can't think of very many things that are more important than transparency in government. One of the things that I like to repeat almost as a mantra, because people just don't get it for some reason, is that Julian Assange is a journalist. And even more than a journalist, he's a publisher. And what I don't understand is why the mainstream media is not lining up behind him, because it's clear to the rest of us that if Julian is extradited to the United States and he's prosecuted, every one of these national security journalists at the Washington Post and the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, et cetera, they're next. And then who's going to go to bat for them? So this is
not me.
Not me. Not if they don't go to bat for Julian.
No, seriously. I'm gonna snitch on them. I'm gonna their home addresses out. I'm just kidding.
This has been going on for so long, for so many years, that everybody who needs to form an opinion and come down on one side of the issue or the other has had the time and the opportunity to do that. So the fight's not over. Of course, the judge, while taking swipe after swipe at Julian in her decision, came down on the right side of it by declining to extradite. Kevin's an expert on this issue.
Yeah.
And, there's precedent in the UK, both in the UK and in the European Court of Human Rights, to not extradite prisoners to the United States because of the way that solitary confinement is used as a punishment here. People lose their minds in solitary confinement in the United States. It was newsworthy yesterday when the state of New York announced that they would abide by United Nations recommendations in not keeping people in solitary for more than 15 consecutive days. Well, that's great, but we're the only industrialized country that doesn't abide by that. Exactly. Right? We've had people, and Medea and I have talked about this in other venues. We've had people in the United States in solitary confinement with literally no human contact for as long as 44 years. Now, can you imagine not seeing or speaking with another human being for 44 years? And then eventually you're released from prison and you're expected to live a normal life and be a law-abiding citizen? It's outrageous. But anyway, the issue here is Julian, and I feel like we're close, but we're not quite there yet. And that's why we need to keep up the pressure, especially on our elected officials and the Justice Department, as you're doing today, to make this thing go away. It's amazing to me that here in Washington, where people are supposed to be so smart, right? We're all the smartest people in America here in Washington, that they don't realize that this is a Pandora's box. And once that lid is opened and everything comes out, you can't put it back in. This is, if Julian is extradited to the United States, this is going to change the way the Constitution is interpreted forever.
Yeah.
Forever. It's a direct assault on our First Amendment rights. And so we're a little bit ahead of things now for the first time in many, many years. We have to finish it off and win it.
Yeah. And do you have any advice from your personal story about what gets people interested or how people can be made aware of what's happening or realize that this is an important story?
Thanks for that question, Katie. I do. I feel like when you're able to personalize things, people sit up and take notice. You know, sometimes a story is so outrageous that people can't help but to be interested. They can't help but to then offer their support. I feel like this is one of those cases. Because, you know, over the course of the last, 12 years, from the beginning of the Obama administration, the definition of espionage has changed. In my view, it's changed dramatically. It's been simplified, which is very, very dangerous. The courts now, the federal courts in the United States, they define espionage as providing national defense information to any person not entitled to receive it, period. Now, if you look at the Espionage Act, it goes for, 30 pages, but that's the definition that's used in court. Well, that could be, you could arrest 1,000 people every day for laying in bed before you go to sleep and mentioning to your wife something that you did at work that day. Well, guess what? That's national defense information. So if a president doesn't like what's been reported in the Washington Post or in the New York Times, with a precedent of Julian Assange having been arrested and prosecuted, then again, what's to keep those reporters from being prosecuted? And as soon as those reporters are prosecuted, that ends constitutional protections for the rest of us. So I think that we need to personalize this. We need to explain to people in plain English why it's so important and why this isn't a fight that's sort of off in the distance between a transparency group and the American government. This is a fight that impacts every single one of us. That's my guess. Number one, is personalizing it. Number two, and I'll say it again, especially on the House side, those members of Congress jump when their constituents write letters, because most people don't write letters, or in today's situation, emails. But most people don't take the 5 minutes to write and express an opinion. So when they get an email or 10 or 100 on an issue, they react to it. I can't tell you how many times we would get a letter saying, please co-sponsor HR 12345, just because I'm asking you to. And we would read it and say, well, what the heck is HR 12345? Okay, yeah, well, if this constituent wants it, sure, we'll co-sponsor that. And we'd co-sponsor it. Now, on the Senate side, when I was working for John Kerry in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, one call is not going to make a difference. but 10 or 20 calls are going to make a difference. At the very least, it's going to push the issue onto his agenda. And so imagine what 100 calls could do, or 500 calls. I mean, that's real activism right there.
Yeah.
So let me just say that I just want to say that for anybody who it doesn't necessarily feel comfortable leaving a message, we have a longer form of our script that is also available that you could use the script as an email as well. So if people do feel comfortable sending an email, but they don't really feel comfortable calling, please feel free to copy and paste. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.